Welcome to another one of our nutrition education videos to teach you a little bit more about how you should be eating to guarantee that you'll be successful both before and after surgery. So to give you an idea of where we're going today, we're going to go over the pre-op diets, we're going to look at the post-op diets, and we'll also explain how to complete your menu assignment that you will turn into your dietitian after you've completed this class today. But first, we want to go through and review some of the key habits that we know are important in order to be successful before and after surgery. So ask yourself today, am I doing well with all of the things on this list? Am I making improvements? So again, making sure you're drinking enough water and that you're sipping it continuously throughout the day. Really trying to get rid of caffeinated beverages, anything that's carbonated, and definitely anything that has liquid calories like alcohol or sugary drinks. We also want to make sure that we're practicing separating our fluids and our food. You need to make sure that you're separating them by about 20 to 30 minutes. Make sure you're eating consistent meals. You want to try to eat about every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. Make sure each of those meals contains protein, and also make sure that you're monitoring yourself so that you're not getting too hungry throughout the day. Make sure that you are focusing on mindful eating, sipping, eating slowly, chewing things thoroughly, and really listening to what your stomach is telling you. You also want to make sure that you're beginning a routine physical activity regimen. It doesn't matter what it is, just make sure that it is consistent. Start taking a complete multivitamin daily. We will talk in one of our other sessions, we talk more about the vitamins and the minerals that you'll need. But right now, if you just get started with a multivitamin, you should be good. And then also, if you have any outstanding lab work or pre-op cancer screenings, definitely make sure that you're checking in with our medical team so that we have those completed. Make sure that you're checking in with your medical provider to make sure that they've sent all of those records to us. So for option one, this is going to be the easiest and the most convenient option. You can have 3 protein shakes and 2 frozen meals, spread evenly throughout the day, probably having one or the other every 3 to 5 hours. Typically, the way that people space this out is they'll do a protein shake for breakfast, a protein shake for their mid-morning snack, a frozen meal for lunch, another protein shake for their mid-afternoon snack, and then a frozen meal for dinner. Remembering to follow our guidelines for protein shakes, so they need to have less than 200 calories and have at least 15 grams of protein. We also recommend that they're low in sugar, so ideally they would be less than 5 grams of sugar. Your frozen meals also have guidelines, so we want to make sure that they are less than 300 calories. You want to find something that's high protein, so it should be between about 15 to 20 grams of protein. And we also would like you to look for ones that are a little bit lower in sodium if possible. So try to aim for under around 600 milligrams of sodium per meal. So options for this are going to be lean cuisine, healthy choice, smart ones. Some of the Atkins meals also fit the bill here. There's a lot of different varieties in the frozen section, so just explore and see what looks good to you. With these shakes and meals, you can also have unlimited non-starchy vegetables. So you can have any vegetables you like besides corn, peas, potatoes, lima beans, and winter squash. We also want to make sure that we're not adding too many calories with things like dressings, dips, sauces, cheese, extra oil, etc. So just to test you a little bit, we'd like you to take a second to examine these 2 frozen meal options and decide which one is going to be the better option. So here on the left, we have something that is 280 calories, 600 milligrams of sodium, 3 grams of sugar, and 19 grams of protein. On the right, we have something that is more like a sweet and sour chicken. It's 350 calories, 590 milligrams of sodium, 22 grams of sugar, and 12 grams of protein. So which one do you think is going to be the better option when you're on the pre-op diet? So that's right, we would want to pick the left option, which is the crustless chicken pot pie. It's got more protein, it has a little bit more sodium, but it's still not over the limit, and it also has only 280 calories. So this is going to be something that's going to be much more appropriate for the pre-op diet. So for the second option, this is going to be more flexible in terms of how you can put things together. So this is essentially the same as option one, except you're using homemade meals instead of frozen meals. So we're still doing 3 protein shakes, typically a breakfast, mid-morning snack, and an afternoon snack. But then for your lunch and your dinner, you're probably going to do something more homemade, like the meals listed below. So it could be 3 ounces of any lean protein that you like: fish, chicken breast, turkey breast, anything that's going to be very lean or very, very low fat. We're going to do about a 1/4 cup of starch, like potatoes, rice, pasta, corn, any of those starchy vegetables that we have listed here. And then you can still have as many non-starchy vegetables as you like. Again, really making sure that you're putting a limit on starchy vegetables. And then you could also have a medium piece of fruit or a 6-ounce low-fat, no sugar added yogurt. This could certainly be a Greek yogurt. We just really want this to be very low carb, so really watch that sugar content. So then the day before surgery, we're not going to have any solid food at all. You can have up to 5 protein shakes. You don't have to have all of them, but essentially you're just using them throughout the day to keep hunger manageable. And we just don't want you doing anything solid in your stomach the day before. And then the day of the surgery, you're not going to eat or drink anything. Okay, so then we're moving on to after the surgery. So this is when you've gone home from the hospital and you're resting at home. Your post-op diets are designed to give you the protein and the nutrition that you are going to need to help your body heal. It also helps to gradually introduce you to new foods, textures, and slowly increase your portion sizes so that you can get to a point where you're eating still small meals, but something that is more appropriate long term for someone who's had surgery. Please do not advance your diet before it's recommended. These diets have been formulated so that you are able to maximize your weight loss, but also so that you don't injure yourself by eating something that is going to make you feel sick. We're not going to do any raw fruits or vegetables for the first 3 months post-op. Again, too much fiber and it's too crunchy at this point for your stomach. And then we're not going to do any starchy foods like breads, pastas, crackers, rice, any of those types of things before 6 months post-op. So we're going to get started with diet stage 1. The first 2 days that you're home from the hospital, you're not going to be eating anything solid. You're just going to drink your protein shakes and drink your fluids. Once you can get through 2 days of hitting 60 to 70 grams of protein and 64 ounces of fluids or more, then you can move on to diet stage 1, which is your blended smooth foods. Everything should be very smooth, no chunks, no lumps, strings, or solid pieces. You're going to be focusing on things like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, protein shakes, pureed beans, and other foods that you will see listed on the food list. With things like cream of wheat or oatmeal, those are great things to add in, but they don't have a lot of protein. So you want to maybe add some protein powder once it's prepared. Again, everything that's going in your mouth should be high protein. For diet stage 2, you're going to move into foods that are a little bit more solid. So this is going to be from weeks 3 through week 6. You're still hitting 60 to 70 grams of protein and 64 ounces of fluids. But you can start adding in things like tuna or tuna salad with a little bit of light mayonnaise. You can do poached eggs or soft boiled eggs. Again, you can do beans, canned chicken or canned fish or tuna, lean ground meat like ground turkey or ground chicken. You're looking for 93% lean or higher in terms of the ground meats that you're looking for. You could also certainly do deli turkey, low sodium deli ham, and then also you can do soft cooked vegetables. So at this point, you want to make sure that all of your vegetables are very well cooked. You want to be able to mush it with a fork. So you want it to be soft enough that you can really chew it up thoroughly. Because again, we're not doing any raw fruits or vegetables for the first 3 months. And then for diet stage 3, it's pretty similar to stage 2, but you have a little bit more variety with your protein sources. So you can now advance your diet to shellfish, you can do lean ground beef, you can do lean moist meats like even a lean steak. The big thing here is that you want everything to be nice and moist. Everything should be cooked in a way that's going to retain moisture, like poaching or baking, braising, making things in the crock pot or using your Instant Pot or something along those lines. We want to make sure that we're keeping that moisture in there. Even if you have something that you've prepared that maybe was a little overcooked or a little dry, you can always add a little bit of warmed chicken broth. Some people like to take their meat or their chicken and they'll dip it in the chicken broth. Certainly things like fat-free or low-fat gravy can be a great option. Even some pureed tomato sauce, as long as it doesn't cause any acid reflux. But something like that could be really good poured over some ground beef to make a little bit of a soft tomato sauce or like a meat sauce. You could certainly do a little bit of tomato over chicken. Something like even a little bit of hummus might be good to kind of help moisten up some of your meats. So just keeping that in mind as you are thinking about foods that you're going to start introducing. Again, we're not doing any raw fruits or vegetables until you get to 12 weeks post-op. And at this point, you should not be doing any breads, crackers, rice, any starchy foods, because we're going to wait until 6 months post-op to do those. So now let's talk about the menu assignment. For every person in the class today, we're going to want you to fill out examples of what you would eat if you were on these post-op diets. So what you're going to find is blank menus in your book, and these are going to be where you're going to create a meal plan for yourself as if you are on stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So this is a great example of how you would fill out your menu on stage 1. You can see that they're incorporating stage 1 foods like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, and that they're also writing them in the appropriate portion size. You can see that there's protein shakes that they're using throughout the day, and also that they're getting in enough of their fluids. We also would like you to write down when you're going to take your vitamins. So if you remember from the vitamins discussion, you're going to want to take your multi and your B50 complex together, and then you're going to want to do your calcium later in the day, and you also want to take your calcium in separate doses. So some people might choose to take them to take their multivitamin and their B complex at night, or some people might want to do it in the morning. It's however you like, but we just want you to start thinking about that and to write it down. Once you've finished your menu assignments, which you can either complete in the PDF forms that you'll be able to access on the Thinkific site, or if you want to do it physically in your book, either way is fine, but your dietitian is going to want to go over that with you. So you can either access your blank menu pages on the Thinkific site, or you can access blank menu pages in your book. You can find them in your book on page 29. So now it's time to complete your learning module quiz. Make sure you go in and you complete the quiz. Your dietitian will check to see if that's been completed. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out and get a hold of one of the dietitians here. Thanks, and hope you have a good day.